Good morning, guys. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to give you a little introduction. I will talk about this again when we are in lecture on Monday, but I wanted to give you a little introduction to what you'll see in D2L and sort of what to expect. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can talk about what's in D2L, and let's get started. Oh no, that's not the right screen. Sorry. Oops. There we go. That's the one I want. Okay. So I'm in the shell for your course. Right now, you'll see that there's not really anything here. Here you'll see the announcements. The announcements are going to be static things that you will need to look at. So your start here information will stay there. Your lecture link will be there. My office hour link will be there. Those things will be present. Any new things that I need to talk about, anything that's important for us to discuss, will be listed in this activity feed. So if there's an announcement about the class, anything like that, that will go in the activity feed. So make sure that you understand that that's where that's going to go. The first thing that you're going to be asked to do is to do the acknowledgement. This is the acknowledgement activity. You'll see it under quizzes. You'll go in, acknowledge everything that's in there. Once you've done that, then you'll be able to open up the rest of the information that's present. So none of this content will be visible to you until you have acknowledged those things. That is to ensure that you are now engaged in a learning activity and therefore have been present in this course. So that's the way that we ensure that you're actually present. Once you've done that, all of these things here will open up and you'll see all of the documents that go with this. So, and actually those will be visible before that. So all of your course documents will be visible as soon as you come in here. I just need to update the link to this video before I release that. But all of these things will be available to you. That way you can acknowledge what they say, okay? So that is what the acknowledgement is about. After that, you're going to be asked to do the scavenger hunt, which is also a graded exercise. Both of these are due on the 16th of March. Okay, so you have 4 days to complete those. The scavenger hunt will ask you to look for certain pieces of information throughout all of these documents. Okay, so that is something you will need to do. Both of those are graded activities. The acknowledgement activity is either you did it or you didn't. The scavenger hunt exercise is a little more nuanced than that, so that will be that. So that's that information. Now, other things that you'll see in that first announcement, which again you can't see at the moment, but I can sort of show you. There'll be a link to the acknowledgement activity. It'll tell you to watch this video. The course syllabus, addendum, course policies, the lecture schedule. You'll need to sign up for ALEX. That is extremely important. All of your graded activities for lecture and lab are present in ALEX. So your virtual labs are in ALEX. All of your graded homework is in ALEX. You need to be signed into that by the 16th of March. Okay. If you haven't signed in by the 16th of March, I don't think that you're here. Here's the scavenger hunt exercise. It'll talk about the PowerPoints. And so let me show you that. When you come into the content, when you're able to see it, you'll see that there's exam 1, exam 2, and exam 3. If you open exam 1, you'll see that there are a bunch of topics listed here. And a bunch of these have numbers. Sig figs doesn't. Significant figures does not have a number associated with it, but everything else does. That is the lecture number for that particular material. Okay. What you'll find when you open this is that there is a copy of my PowerPoints that is present here. Okay, so this is what I will be talking through in that particular lecture. This is available to you so that you can not have to write everything as fast as I might go through it, so that you have that to refer to later. I am planning to record these sessions so that you can then go back and review that material if you need to. So that will be there. And so that is something that is present. One other thing I want to talk about. You'll see that there's a list of topics for each and every lecture that we're going to go through. It is my expectation that you come to class having reviewed those topics, because that's what we're going to be talking about. Every day there will be a quiz. That quiz will include 2 components. One, what were the topics for today? And you'll probably get a list of were these part of the topics or not. So some things yes, some things no. The other thing will be questions related to the previous lecture. So might be a definition, might be a calculation, probably will be one of each based on what we talked about in the last lecture. Now, it's not important to me that you get 100% on that. And really what that means is I'm not going to grade it for content. What I need is for you guys to be engaged. And so I need you to have looked at those topics. I need you to have gone through these things. And if you don't score well on that quiz, then that will be something that we need to talk about. Okay, if the whole class didn't do well on that quiz, then I need to go back and talk about that material again. So that's important information feedback for me. All right. So that quiz is really not, it'll be graded, but it's not for a grade for you. You will get a grade if you did it. Okay, so that's a pass-fail kind of thing. You either took it or you didn't take it. Those quizzes will be available starting 5 minutes before class each day and ending 5 minutes after class starts each day. So remember to take them. The first day you'll get a little more, so Monday and Wednesday, one day there won't be one. Wednesday, that first Wednesday, that will be a larger window. But that's something that you'll need to take care of. And I will get those set up so that you can take those as appropriate. Okay, so those are things that you'll find in here. Now, when we talk about the lab materials, you'll see that there's mass and volume experiment information. Now, this is all related to what we would do physically in the lab. Now, you guys aren't taking a physical lab. So is this relevant to you? Yes and no, because there's a lab final that we give to both sections, expecting that you all can do them. So there are calculations that go on in each of these things. So this will be like these are your data tables. This is how you should be collecting data for this particular experiment. And so this might be something that you want to put in a lab notebook or print out and fill out while you're looking at the virtual labs so that you can see how you would collect that data. Now, it's different than what's in the virtual labs. So this is not necessary or required, but it is something that I would recommend. You'll also see that there's a report sheet. And it says you must turn in both pages. That is only for the physical labs that we make you turn them in. But this will show you the calculations you would be expected to do in a physical lab for this. Those calculations can and do exist on the lab final. So you need to make sure that you're aware of them and how to do them. Okay, so that's something that you should be looking at. One other thing I want to show you, practice for the final exam. You'll see there's a lab exam review. And there's a study guide that's here. And it will talk about, here are things that you need to know how to do. You might want to print this so that you make sure that you're aware of these things when we get to them. Okay, so there will be lab material that's related to each of these. Now, since we're not physically together for the lab, what's going to happen is that in the schedule, and let me show you the schedule. In the schedule, you will see that there is a lab set up for each day, and there's a lab lecture that's listed for the 14th of March, 2023, and it says check-in. And I will have posted a lab lecture 1, that will talk about what would have happened in the lab if we were there that day. Okay. These are things about, what's in these virtual labs. These are the virtual labs that you're expected to do. This is the quiz post-lab that is in Alex to make sure that you've done those things. You get more than one attempt on those quizzes. So make sure that you're aware that that's the case. And if you have to take it again, you only have to retake the questions that you missed. So, so that's all of that. You'll see that there are virtual labs for almost everything. Those virtual labs are due a week after they are supposed to be assigned. So if this lab was supposed to be done on the 16th of March, that's what I'm saying, then they're due a week later. Okay. You are allowed to turn them in late, both the labs themselves and the post labs, but there is a significant penalty if you do so. Okay. My reason for that is that I need to grade all of those together to see if there was something that I didn't cover well that you need to have addressed. And so if I don't have that in a timely fashion, I can't deal with that. So that's why there is that penalty. It is a 50% penalty on the labs if they're late, and a 40% penalty on the Alex assignments if they're late. Your Alex assignments, which are listed in here. So this lecture is lecture 2. you'll see that in Alex, and let me open my Alex, there is a link in here for how to get to that. And it is right there. This will take you to Alex so that you can set up your own experiments there, or accounts there. So when you come into Alex, there are assignments. So click on, and yours looks a little bit different. And I'll walk through this in the introduction to Alex because this is the wrong view. But there are assignments that go with each of these. You'll notice that matter and units of measure, 1, goes with lecture 1. Okay, so that's the homework that's due for that particular thing. All Alex homeworks are due 2 days before the exam. That is to force you to be ready for that exam. I am capable of giving extensions on the Alex assignments, but you need to have talked to me before it's due. Okay, if you send me an email at 5 minutes to midnight on the day that it's due and ask me for an extension, I'm not going to be overly inclined to give it to you. Okay, and that ends up being a problem because I won't be awake at that time, so I can't give you an extension, which means that you're going to go past the time, and then Alex is going to take that penalty no matter what. I can't go back and change that due date for you after the fact and then have it not penalize you. It won't do it. And so that means I'll have to keep a list of those things to fix at the end of the term. All right, so there's that. So that's your Campus Connect. There are worksheets that are present with each of these topics. So you'll see underneath these, there's practice, and then there's the answer key for that practice. These are questions that I expect that you can answer based on what I've talked about. Okay, so it behooves you to have done these. Now, between these and the exam practice, you should see all of the questions or similar questions to what you're going to be asked to do on the exam. So you should be perfectly prepared for those exams. Okay. And I think that's everything I wanted to talk about in here. I do have office hours, and this is the last thing I'm going to say. I have office hours either virtually or in person. Monday, oh no, I have to fix that. Sorry. They are not Monday, Wednesday. They are, oh yeah, Monday and Wednesday, 10 to 11. Thursday, noon to 2, virtually only because I'm not always on campus. Tuesday, 9:30 to 11:30. And Tuesday, 1 to 3, or by appointment, excuse me. Computer, stop. Sorry, alarm, I have to do something. I apologize. So those are my office hours. And this link right here virtually, that will take you, if you click it, to my office hours. So you will be able to get in there. All right. I think that's everything that you need. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks. I appreciate talking to you. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.